Hi guys, so good to see you. We're so sorry we started this late. We had some technical issue and the devil's a liar. Thank you so much for coming in and thank you for sticking around. We're really happy to have you here. And yay, we're here again. And we've been talking about what's the name? We've been talking about um financial upliftment and financial confidence in children all through this month, and we've actually we've gotten a very good guest speaker who knows everything, not knows everything, but who is specialized in this area and has really took her time to study and research, and now she's really ready to share experience with you, and I hope you're going to be available for that. So we have Evie Osaye, and she's on the building, but before I bring her on, I want you to kind of please help me appreciate Evie Osaye for sticking around, for staying here, and for deciding to do this with me, because she has a very busy schedule, but she's here actually. Thank you so much, Evie, for being here. And Evie Osaye is the founder of Lead Tech Education at Sticks and Codes. If you've not followed our page, please do on YouTube. Hi, Anita. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. And on Instagram, you need to listen to our videos. Gosh, it's very educative. And also, she has a K-12 technology education company based in Nigeria, but that does not mean she's not available to teach online. Most of the things she does it online. She has students in the UK, in the US, and in all over the country. So I don't know, but she has a whole lot of students all over the country, and she is very available to um, educate your children and help them understand what technology is all about. I didn't even have the opportunity when I was growing up, and having it right now would be a very good thing for your kids. And she teaches children creative technology skills through online instructions, and she believes deeply in equipping kids with the real world skills they need to thrive. Now that we're going into the AI generation and AI world, I think your kids needs to know this, and they need to be aware of, you know, sticks and code and all the technology she has to offer. So I hope you're ready. Now I'm going to invite Evie on the stage to say hello to everybody. Hi, Evie. Hello, good to see you. And nice to have you.
Hi, hi Mary. I'm so happy to be
Hello.
here.
Oh
Thank you for
gosh, I
having
love
me.
your background. You see, that's our image there,
Yeah,
sticks and code.
I have to represent my brand. Thank you so
Yes,
much
yes,
for
yes, for
having me.
sure, definitely. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm back. All right.
Okay,
So thank you for having us. Thank you for coming here, and thank you for your sacrifice. We're really grateful. And
it's such an honor to be here.
yeah, is there anything you would like to say for people to get to meet you more? Maybe some things I was not really, some things I
Yeah,
didn't talk about and things like that. Yeah.
well, yeah, you did an interesting job introducing me. So just going to highlight some other things. My name is EVA Osei. I am the founder of Sticks and Codes, and Sticks and Codes is a tech academy for kids, K-12, so between the ages of 6 and 17, basically. And we equip them with technical skills like coding. And now, like she mentioned, this is an AI generation. So we're basically preparing them for the now. Before we'd say for the future, but it's no longer the future. It's now. We're
Mhm.
preparing them for now, and we believe in starting now, starting as early as possible. So yeah, basically, I am for anything that has to do with child development. I am heavily interested in the development of the child, wholesome development of the child, which is why I am excited to be here to be talking about financial literacy for children. And I just want to say thank you to every single person that is joining, whether you're listening in now or if you're going to be listening to this later, whenever you join us. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. It's going to be an amazing session, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Tosin, for having me again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are actually happy you're here. And we have lots of questions. And I know that parents are also going to be very happy to know the answers and, to get more insight about financial literacy and, how they can help their kids prosper in this area. And I hope you're
Yeah.
ready for us because I know you can answer any question.
I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
Okay, then let's do
Yeah.
this. Let's do this. Okay,
Yeah.
so I have some few questions for you, and it's going to be an interactive section, and
Okay.
I would just like it to be as explanatory as possible, and probably people. So you can drop your comments, you can drop your Thank you, Bamiro, for joining. Aditula, thank you so much. I'm really happy you're here. Thank you. Yeah, you can also drop your comments whenever Eve says anything and you're not really maybe you need more clarity on the what's the name on the answer and how. Feel free to drop a comment or a question. So my first question is why teach children about money early? Why?
Okay. So, sorry, I don't know if this is being recorded. Before the remind you to record if it's
Okay.
not being recorded. Yeah. So that's a very good question, right? Like, why teach children about money early? So the we should teach children about money early because I mean money is very important. The conversation about money is very important. Everybody spends money. We all use money. And there's a research that was done in Cambridge that shows that financial habits are built before the age of 7, right, in children. Okay, so since money is highly important in life, I don't see why we shouldn't teach children about it early. Right. One of the importance of teaching children about money early is because you are building healthy habits um, in them. Right. For a lot of us as adults, I don't know about you or I don't know about the people who are listening. We didn't get to learn about money early from our parents. Our first encounter with money was probably when we grew up and had our first jobs, right? So, but when you teach children about money early, you're building money habits, good money habits in them. They're able to learn about, spending, saving. They get to have a better relationship with money. So when they grow up to become adults, responsible adults, they do not have a bad relationship with money. They understand what it means to save. They don't understand what it means to spend. They understand what it means to budget. So it's highly important that you build financial literacy in children early. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I would really concur to what you said because when I was growing up, also, I didn't have that financial literacy. And,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when I get my money from uncles and aunties, they're always from my
Mm-hmm.
parents. So I didn't know how to grow or how
Yeah.
to, build myself. Thank you so much. So, follow up question is um, okay, so what are the section of money, like the pillars of money that children can actually get to know, like where does money come from, how do they earn, and things like that.
Okay. Sorry, please could you take that again? So what are the
Okay,
what?
I was talking about. I think there are some pillars of money. I mean,
Okay.
section of money that children needs to know about. So, what are the
Mm-hmm.
pillars of money that children can actually learn from to know? If we don't break this down, then
Yeah.
how do you know what to do and how to do it?
Okay. Okay. So that's actually a very good question. Right. So one of the things that you need to teach children about money and teach them early is that money is earned. Right.
Mm,
They need to understand that money doesn't just fall from the sky. They actually need to work to get
yeah,
money. Right. I
yeah,
I I see that, especially as someone. I mean, I didn't just fall from the sky. I was a child before. So using my own experience, and which I see it's a common experience with households in Nigeria, that
yeah,
topic about money. being able to teach your children about money isn't really there, especially early on. So you need to teach your children that money has to be earned. They have to work for their money. And one of the ways that you can teach them that money has to be earned is by introducing them to, small tasks in the house. So you tell them, okay, when you do this, for example, clean your room, and then I get to give you something. So you're not necessarily paying them for cleaning their room, but you are showing them that money is worked for. Okay, so yeah, so but I say under that same bucket of earning, you're also teaching them that money is you're linking efforts to reward, basically. All right. So you're letting them know that okay, for this effort that you put in, I am rewarding you for this. So you're showing them that money can be a reward for effort. Okay, so that way you're building in that mindset in them that if they're going to get money, they have to work for it. So when they grow up, you're raising responsible children. You're raising them to become responsible adults. So as they are growing, they're not learning to just depend on you or any other family member. They're learning to they are learning that for them to have money, they have to work. Money has to be earned, right? So another thing would be that they have to save. Okay, that is very important. Saving. We do not need to spend every single thing. Okay, so you have to teach them that they must save a portion of their income, or they must save a portion of money that they have. And children learn from adults, and they learn from what they see you do. So if saving is not something that is practiced in the home, right? It's they're not going to learn it. So even if you just say save, they need to see you do it first. Okay. So when I talk about teaching your children about money, I don't mean that you have to sit them down and say, okay, so today I'm going to teach you about money. So you have to, this is what money is. No, I'm saying that by what you model, what do you model in the house? Do you model that the saving practice? Is this something that is modeled in your house? So, for example, you can say that when you get stuff for them, or like when you get stuff for them, for example, you get them chocolates or whatever it is you get for them, you tell them, don't have everything now. Let's save this for later. So you're already building that culture of saving in them. And then you give them money, or someone comes to the house, hands them money. I don't even know if they still do that these days. I know that when we were growing up, people would come to the house and squeeze money in our hands. I don't know if they still do that. Or I guess that we are the ones who are supposed to be giving money now. So I don't know if
I think so.
yeah. So when they receive gifts and receive money like that, you let them know, oh, we're not going to spend this now. We can save this. Right. So one method that you can use in your home is by having maybe like a savings jar method. Right. So you have like 3 jars. You say, okay, this first jar is for saving, this second jar is for spending, and this other jar is for giving. So by doing this, you're introducing what is called delayed gratification. Okay, so they have this mindset that everything doesn't have to go now. We can save for later. There's going to be a rainy day. There's going to be times where we don't have everything now, and what we rely on is what we saved. Okay, so another pillar would be spending wisely. Okay, so still talking about how we were brought up without money conversations, right? It's okay to show your children that it's okay to show some things to your children. What do I mean? Right. So maybe your children go shop with you. Please take your children shopping when you're shopping. Right. If you're a parent listening to this, it's important that you take your children shopping when you're shopping so that they can see how you're shopping. They can see how you're making decisions. All of these things make them feel involved, and they help in building them the right way. For example, you want to get something and your child says, hey, mommy, can I get this? So you'd ask them, do you really need this? For example, they want extra toys. Right? You
Yeah.
can tell them, do you really need to get this toy? Remember, you have some other toys at home. You've not, you the other toys that you have at home, they're still good. Do you understand? So that way, you're letting them know that I'm not buying this for you because I cannot afford it. I'm not buying this for you because I think that you do not need it. And then it's also okay to tell them, I'm not buying this for you because I cannot afford it. It's okay to tell your children that,
Mm.
yes, it's okay to let them know that we are working with a budget. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. This cannot work right now because what we planned for this money doesn't fall within what we planned for this money. Okay, I feel like sometimes as parents try to shield their children so much from heartbreak, but they need to learn about the reality of things early. Okay, like I said, all of these things that you're doing is building them for the future. You're building them into a wholesome individual. So it is very important that you let them see some struggle, a bit of struggle. Okay, you let them
Mm.
see that, oh, we cannot afford this right now, but not to worry, we would save for this. So imagine, like everything is feeding into each other. We're
Yeah.
not we cannot afford this right now, but why don't we save for this? So you're teaching them saving and then you're teaching them to spend wisely. Okay. Another thing is you can teach them to compare prices. Oh, let's get this. Okay, why don't we check another store or check another place? These
Mm.
are little things that seem little but are important because when you start, especially when you start teaching them early, they will not forget. Okay. And
Yeah.
then in spending wisely, you're also teaching them to avoid impulsive buying because kids can be excited. Oh, mommy, I want this, I want this, I want that. So you're teaching them that and the fact that you want it now doesn't mean you must get it now. Again, delay
Mm.
the gratification. Yeah, and finally, to answer this question, I think the last pillar I would say would be giving. Okay. Um, I think that we do well as Africans and as Nigerians in showing this giving or in showing generosity. I mean, everybody wants to show that I can give. Just kidding. But yeah, but it's important that you teach generosity. And as much as you're teaching generosity, you're teaching every other thing. Okay. So teach them about generosity. If you have to, it's okay to share. Share with this person, share with that person. Why? Because giving also builds character. Okay, you're giving, it builds character, it creates gratitude, it lets them know that you can always share. There's something that my mom usually says that there's nothing that cannot be shared. Okay. Even if it's one piece of cookie that we have, we can break it into two, right? And give
Mm.
it to the next person, or break it into three or four, as many pieces as we can break it into and give to the next person. Okay. So it's also important that when we're teaching about money, and building financial confidence in kids, we also teach them to give. All right, I hope I answered the question correctly.
Yeah, great. Like, I mean, this is really, really profound. Thank you so much for that. You really mentioned about many things about budgeting, taking
Yeah.
children to the shop also to know what you're getting. One that I really
Hmm.
stuck to me was you can actually tell a child that um, we're not having enough money to get this now because of
Yeah.
this. And it's making them aware of what's going on in the home. Not
Hmm.
necessarily seeing them as kids and saying they will not understand. Like that, that's really profound. And also,
Hmm.
talking about telling them that um, the fact that you want this now does not mean you can get it now. It makes
Yeah.
it teaches it builds their personality,
Hmm.
build their patience level, make them
Sure.
also understand that okay, now because I want this, because I've seen many videos of children crying in the mall, shouting and screaming that they want it now and they must get it now. Probably it's because
Hmm.
the parents have not really practicalized what you just talked about. If they've done
Hmm.
it at home and now the kids are in the shop and you can speak to
Hmm.
them that yo,
Hmm.
it's your time to get it, even if you want it, I think they would totally understand and agree with their parents. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for that. That's really
Hmm.
profound.
Hmm.
Okay, so also just moving forward, it's like a follow-up question. How do we
Yeah.
teach children about budgeting in a child-friendly way? How can we? Because budgeting in itself sounds so big. Like let's just say, Pharaoh, you need to budget. I'm very sure my nephew will ask me, "What do you mean? What's budgeting?" So
Okay.
what does that mean?
Okay. So basically, when you talk about budgeting for kids, yeah, um, the best way is just letting them know that there is a plan for money or making a plan for your money. All right.
Mm,
So, I mean, when you're going to the market, you have your list and the list of things that you want to buy and the amounts that you want to spend. Okay. So, you're basically letting your kids know that there is a plan for your money or there has to be a
mm,
plan for your money. Okay. So, if a child receives 100 naira or £100 or £10, okay, so you let them know that, okay, this one that you have received, what is the plan for the money? So it could be that your child has probably been disturbing you for something that they want, right? And you let them know that, okay, the next time you get a gift, or I'll give you this money at the end of the month or something. Or remember, I spoke about having them earn from chores. So that can also be a way to teach them about budgeting. So the next activity or the next reward I give to you, let's budget that money for this. Okay. Exactly. So one way that you can explain it or make it easy for them to understand is by attaching a goal to it. For
Okay.
example, they want to, maybe your child has been asking for a bicycle, right? Oh, I want a bicycle, I want a bicycle. And then you just let them know that, okay, I do not have the money for that right now, because the money that I have, I want to use for something more important, like maybe your school fees or your books or clothes.
Mm,
But we can work towards next month. Why? Because mommy is going to get paid next month, and I'm going to add it to my plan for the money I receive next month. That is a way to show them that, oh, so I can actually plan for my money. Yes, you can plan for your money. Like, your money should be planned for. I do not expect that you will just, as an adult, we always have budgets. We're always budgeting. For example, I probably have only one big spend in a month, right? So I plan for my money. So if I plan for my money, I should be able to teach my kids that I plan for my money. Okay. So that's like the simple way to teach them about budgeting. And remember, I mentioned before about having like three jars, teaching them about three jars: the jar for saving, for
yeah.
spending, and for giving. So in that bucket, the one that falls for spending, you can tell them that, okay, since we have this money for spending, let's take out of this to buy what it is we want to buy. You said you wanted a bicycle. You said you wanted a new Lego set. Let's take out of this to spend on what it is we want to buy. So that's basically how to, in simple terms, so that I don't talk too much, in simple terms,
You're not
teaching
taking
your
too
kids teaching your kids budgeting is basically letting them know that your money can be planned for or should be planned for, and there should be a plan for your money. So what that means is that when they see you with money, I know nowadays we don't even use cash anymore. We're in a cashless economy, and that's something that I'm going to talk about. Right. So the fact that they cannot see money physically doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So using your phone to maybe make your Apple payments, or using your card to make payment, doesn't mean that it is not money. So they should be able to relate with that. Okay, so when they see you buying, yeah, when they see you buying something else, they shouldn't feel like, oh, mommy, you said that we don't have money to buy this. That's a good time to let them know that, yes, I said that we don't have money to buy that. Okay, so the fact that you're seeing me spend money is because I have planned for
mm,
this money, right? I have planned for what I'm going to spend this money on. Okay, so let us plan towards next month so we can get you what it is that you want. So yeah, that's basically it.
wow, that's really okay. So I think one thing I'd like to just ask is that
Yeah.
so parents can also have a budget, and also it's very okay for them to make their children aware that
Mm-hmm.
this money, it's not like there's not money on ground, but this money is what I've already budgeted for, like it's something I've saved for, something I already have in mind to do this particular thing with. It's not your
Yeah.
money, it's
Yeah.
me saving and getting this thing. And you
Mm-hmm.
talked about parents also standing as a model, and also
Yeah.
portraying what they want their children to be. So I think that also aligns with children seeing what their parents can achieve while
Mm-hmm.
they budget for their money, and the children also can also go along with it. So I think that's very
Yeah.
good and very profound. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that.
You're
Thank you so much
welcome.
for that. So we've talked about budgeting, money, and um, how can you please teach us delayed gratification? It's a word that is very, very good. Well, when I heard that word, I was like, wow, even adults need to learn about delayed gratification. But how
Uh-huh.
can we actually teach our children how to process and make this work for them.
Okay. So I think there's this experiment called the marshmallow experiment. Yeah.
Okay.
So where you hand your child a marshmallow and let them know that if they're able to wait for like 15 minutes, you would hand
Mm,
them two. So of course, in that kind of situation, there are two options. Is either your child just says, please, let me eat what I have right now,
yeah.
or they're able to wait in order to gain two. So what if you do that, I mean, it can be anything, right? I gave an example earlier of, chocolates, right? It can be anything, but the principle remains the same, right? One way to teach your kids about delayed gratification, it doesn't have to be when it comes to money. You can use different things to teach them, everyday
Mm,
things to teach them, right? Delayed gratification. But then the most important thing is that you're letting them know that there is a reward for it. You would definitely be better for it, right? Once you're able to, you know, control yourself, exercise self control, you're not impulsive, you would always get a better reward. So, the way to teach them that is by simulating the experience. What I mean by that is that so for the marshmallow experiment now, you're telling them
yeah.
that if you wait for 15 minutes, you get two. I mean, it may not always
Mm,
yes, it may not always work like that in the real world, but you're simulating that experience for them now, showing them what can happen in the real world. Okay. So in the case of chocolate, maybe chocolates, you give them one and tell them that I'm giving you this one chocolate, but if you can wait till tomorrow, I'll give you two.
mm,
And and trust me. And then, there's this trend that parents do on social media where they put a like a plate in front of the kids, maybe like cookies or something in front of the kids, and they're like, oh, don't worry, mom is coming. Okay, just wait. Don't touch it until I come. Okay.
yeah.
And then the mom goes away and she's probably waiting to see if the child is going to touch it. So that's teaching them delayed gratification, okay, because it's something that they really like. And you're telling them wait until mommy comes. I don't understand. Why am I waiting for you? I just want to I just want to have my cookie. All right. So yeah, that is one way to teach them delayed gratification because at the end of the day, you're building character in them. Okay. You're showing them that there is a reward. Okay, you would always be better for it if you are not very impulsive, if you're able to wait. And you're teaching them patience. You're teaching them
Yeah.
patience, which is a very, very important skill. Okay, you're not always going to get what you want.
What you
So you
want.
need to be patient. Sometimes you need to suffer a bit, you need to struggle a bit so that you are able to get what you want. Okay,
Mm,
so yes, that's basically one key thing that we should know is that delayed gratification builds patience and you can always simulate the experience for them. You may not have like a ready experience or a ready example for them, but then you can always, okay, you want to maybe your child wants to go somewhere, they wants to go to an amusement park or something, and like, oh mommy, I want to go. You can tell them, wait, we'll go so time. Maybe we would go during your holiday or something. You're teaching them that patience. You don't always have to, like I said earlier, sometimes as parents try to shield their children so much from suffering, from heartbreak. Allow them to experience just a little heartbreak, even if you can afford it, just a little heartbreak, so that they learn because they're not always going to be with you, daddy and mommy. The kids are going to grow up and they're going to be responsible and stay on their own. So all these things that you're teaching them is basically teaching them and preparing them for what will happen in the future or when they're not with you.
thank you so much. Thank you. So I can
Thank
see a comment. Delayed gratification means you're teaching them patience. Yes, I concur with that.
exactly,
Yeah, because
exactly,
even right now
exactly.
in the world we have right now, children really need to be more patient than they are because
Mm-hmm,
they have this. I mean, yes, they are entitled to many things the parent needs to offer, but
mm-hmm,
I feel like there's no balance to it. There's no balance to
mm-hmm,
what you can
mm-hmm,
get from your parents and also appreciating your parents. It's not just
mm-hmm,
about give me, give me, give me. I was speaking to one of my colleague on Friday and she was like saying she was just telling me how exhausted she is, that her
mm-hmm,
kids don't even appreciate what she's doing and
mm-hmm,
they still feel like it's their rights. Definitely, it's their right because you brought them to the world, but there needs to be a
Mm-hmm.
balance of you understanding that these things were gotten with money, and to
Mm-hmm.
make money, mommy had to work, and
Mm-hmm.
mommy was tired and things like that. And they have to appreciate that. So I was just speaking to her, and she said probably she would try to do that, but it's exhausting. So I understand what you're trying to say. Parents really need to get this and make this a priority while
Mm-hmm.
training their children at home, because being patient now means that in future you would understand why people do what they do. Even when people give you something, you'll be more appreciative than you feel like you're entitled to it. Thank you so much. Also, there's one
Yeah.
thing you said when we started. You said children are not too little to start learning now. I mean,
Yeah.
you also said that they are very you can't say that because they're very little you don't need to teach them about money and all. Can you
Mm-hmm.
expand on that? How can parents really get to make their children more mature than the world think they are? Do you get my question?
Yeah, I
How
understand
how
it.
how can we, because there are children out there that are really
Mm-hmm.
saving right now,
Mm-hmm.
and in future they'll be very happy that they have done that. There are books that people have already written, and I'm very sure many parents have read those books to help their children. So how can we actually teach our children to be more mature than the standard of the world when it comes to financial confidence and literacy?
Okay. That's a good question, right? I would say that one of the ways that you can do is by giving them responsibility early. What do I mean by that? It's not just enough to teach them about savings. Of course, yes, teach them about savings. Give them money, right? Give them money, but then also involve them in little financial decisions in the home, right? What do I
Mm,
mean by this? What do I mean by this? You can let them know that okay, this is something that we want to do. We have like this. We have a new project in the house. Okay, we want to maybe so in the house we want to get a new TV. So is either we get a new TV or we get a new couch. I'm just thinking of like random conversations, or we get a new play set or a PS5, all right, for you. And maybe sometime in the home around dinner, you can tell them that this is the cost of a new TV. Excuse me.
mm,
This is the cost of a new TV. A new TV costs 5,000 naira. A new couch costs 2,000 naira. A PS5 costs 5,000 naira. Right. And this is just an example. Right. And what we currently have 5,000 naira. Okay, so let the conversation go around. So what do you think? Show it to them. So what do you think? Which do you think is more important for us to get? Do you think we should get the TV? Do you think we should get the couch? Do you think we should get the PS5? Hear from them.
mm,
Okay. And if they say let's get the TV, ask them why. Why do you think we should
mm.
get the TV? So that's what you're doing, is that you're creating a sense of responsibility in them. You
Yeah.
are involving them in financial decisions. So you're not treating them like they're outside the home. You're making them feel like their opinion counts, right? You're making them more responsible. So they can now see and say, okay, let's get this. You're also teaching them um like I said before, a bit of struggle. This is what we have: budgeting, plan for the money. All right. So you're teaching them budgeting, you're teaching them plan for the money. Right. So you're letting them know that, okay, this is what we have. We only have this amount of money, but we have three things that we want to buy. You're teaching them priority. I think that's the word I wanted to remember. You're teaching them
Yeah.
priority. Yes, what to prioritize. So this is what separates them early, right? Because when eventually these kids are going to be business people, they're going to be entrepreneurs, they're going to work, they're going to have careers. So you're teaching them that how to make decisions. You're also teaching them how to make decisions, basically. So having these kind of conversations, involving them in financial decisions, giving them little responsibilities here and there, helps build them and develop their financial capacity faster. Because at the end of
Mm,
the day, and when they decide, another thing is that it's not just to have these conversations with them. When they decide, even if you think that is not a good decision, right? Just let it play. Because at the end of the day,
mm.
they now even see the effect of their decision. So, for example, they decide that, okay, let's get the PS5 first. Okay, they get the PS5 first. And then there's no TV in the house and there's no couch for them to sit on. They will now, and then they now realize that, oh, I think we should have gone for the couch first so we can have where to sit. So you're teaching
Okay.
them the effect of making poor decisions. They are seeing their poor decisions play in real time. And then,
Mm,
I mean, there should be context to this thing. It shouldn't be something that would eventually harm them. Okay,
yeah.
but just something where that, little teachable moments here and there. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So someone said something. Someone said they become involved in financial decisions and you make them understand scale of preference. Exactly, Diklo. Exactly. You're
um,
making them understand scale of preference. Thank you so
exactly.
much.
Like
Yeah,
priority and whole.
yeah,
Truly, I really concord. This even makes them more mature
yeah.
than the way they think, because these are practical examples on how
Mm-hmm,
they can,
mm-hmm,
be financially liberated and financially confident, in the
mm-hmm,
sense that me knowing that my bad my bad decision led to this. And it's not like
mm-hmm,
it's not like as a parent, I'm going to pamper them and say, since you
mm-hmm,
already made a bad decision, let's have a couch. I mean, we're going
mm-hmm.
to save again to get the couch. So that makes
Yeah.
them understand that, oh, I need to get my priority right.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
making them, I love what you said when you said making them make mistakes that
Yeah,
are not harmful
yeah,
is even way better, in the sense that you know that, okay, now that I've gotten a PS5, it's taught me, but we don't have TV. So what are we gonna do? Sooner or later, the child would totally understand that I should have gone for either the TV or the couch. And even when it now comes to the little balance of TV and couch, they still have to put the scale of preference, like Deepo said, and know the priority. Which one should we go for? Is it for comfort or just for entertainment? And things like that.
mhm.
So I really, really appreciate that. That's a very good response. And I hope I'm so impressed by what you said. Thank you so much, Evie. And I'm very, very sure that many parents here already have the insights of how to, train your children. One thing I've got from this webinar is that your children should be part of the financial um, what's the name,
Decisions.
decisions in the house, financial decisions. Take your children for shopping. Let them know what is going on. You said something really profound. You said let them understand when you don't have money. That mommy doesn't have
Mm,
money right now. Daddy doesn't have money.
mm,
It's not a bad thing. It's not something that
mm,
is making you look less of a father. It's something
mhm,
that makes them understand that at some point we might not have, and at some point
mhm.
we might have, and it's okay. That's why
Yeah,
we have teenagers right now wanting half-time money, because they feel
mhm.
like that's the priority.
Yeah,
Like that,
yeah,
that's it. Because if you don't have money, then I'm a poor man. If you don't have money, I don't want to end up being like my father. And it's
yeah,
because we're not taught this thing that being in a position, in a phase that you don't have
mhm.
enough does not mean you're poor. It just means you need to plan more, and be more hardworking. I really love
Exactly,
it.
exactly. Can I
Sure,
touch on
sure.
something that you just said? Yeah, because a lot of adults have like a money wound. We have a very bad
Only
relationship with
one.
money, and
Mm,
that's yes, money wound, and that's something. What I mean by that is there's a kind of shame around not having enough. I like what you just said. That the fact that you do not have doesn't mean you're poor. You probably need to plan better or think
mm,
of things that you can do to earn money, right? Which is why I started with that as one of the pillars for of money. Money is earned, right? But you find out that because of how we grew up, right? There's a lot of shame around money. As adults, we're even scared, or we have this fear of asking for what you are worth. When it comes to the
mm.
corporate setting, you're not able to ask for what you are worth. There's guilt around spending on yourself. You think, oh, why didn't I just keep this, keep this, keep
Yeah.
this? You can't spend on yourself. And a lot of these things started in childhood, right?
Mm,
They started because money was regarded as something that should be kept secret, or oh no, no, keep this away from the children. But then that is why we're having discussions like this, because we are learning to do better. Okay, we're learning to do better. So how you talk about money emotionally shapes how your child feels about it for the rest of their life. Okay. So it's not even just about information. Remember, I said it's not just about sitting them down and saying, I want to teach you about money. It's about the energy around it. It's about how you model these things around them. Okay. And one thing that I would want to point out for parents is that please don't use money as a control. Okay. So don't tell your
Mm,
children that if you don't behave, I won't buy you this. If you don't do this, I won't buy you this. Now, it may sound harmless, but then what you're teaching them is that you're teaching them to associate money with fear, with punishment and manipulation. And that wiring
mm,
is what follows them into adulthood and their relationships. Okay. But when you teach them using the pillars that I mentioned, money needs to be earned. So you're teaching them budgeting, you're showing them how they can earn money, you're teaching them that they can spend, they're teaching them that you can save and they can give. That's a more better approach to teaching them about money rather than intentionally hiding or saying that I'm not going to do this if you do not behave. I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah, a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing is that you would want to, when thinking about money, you would want to differentiate between needs, wants, and wishes. Okay, so there are needs, certain needs that we have, for example, food, school, shelter. They should know that once they receive money, there are some things that are non negotiables. You have to keep things aside for this. You have to keep money aside for food. You have to keep money aside for your school. You have to keep money aside for shelter. You have to keep money aside for maybe so clothes can come under wants. So showing them the difference between needs, between wants, and between wishes. So wishes can be a trip to the park, maybe to Disneyland. All of these are valid. So we're not saying that one is more valid than the other. All of these are valid, but knowing the difference before you spend is what changes the game. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really profound. We have a question though. We have a
Okay,
question. Someone
okay,
said,
okay.
"What what is the appropriate age to involve them in responsibilities in this money issue?"
Okay, that's a very good question. So as young as I can say as young as 3. So from when they are able to talk, from when they are able to ask you for things, give me water, give me this, or buy
Mm,
me this. From that age, you can start. So not saying this is money, but then you can start modeling that attitude. Okay, you can start modeling that attitude from like 3. You can tell them, oh mommy, I want chocolate now. You can just tell them, no, no, you can't get that now. You already had one. Wait till tomorrow. So you can teach about money without necessarily, talking about money. Again, it's not really about money, but it's about the values. It's about
mm,
the values that you're passing, the skills that you're passing, right? So you can teach all of these things without mentioning money. So, but when they now get to the point where they understand what it means to pay for something, then you can now start having serious conversations. But as early
conversations.
as yes, but as early as 3 years old, you can start teaching them preference. Okay, budget. Well, we can't get this now because it's not in the plan. But don't worry, honey. I will give it to you tomorrow or next tomorrow. Yeah. So
Mm.
as early as 3 is fine.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that. I think you really answered the question. I also concur with you that you can children start learning about anything from the age of, let's say, two to,
Yeah.
and the best part to teach them is their early years. That's from two
Yeah.
to I think 8. To
Uh-huh.
me, so they would say from 5 to 8. To me,
Uh-huh.
I'll start when they're 2 years old because I believe that their brain is formed and
Uh-huh.
they can actually know simple words like yes, no, come,
Uh-huh.
go, and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And also, just to add to what you've said about what's the name? About when to involve them with money and all. I believe that, like the example you stated that was happening, the viral video of putting a food in front of a child and watching if they would, wait
Uh-huh.
and be patient. I believe that that should be studied at home. That should be done at
Uh-huh.
home without the camera, in the sense
Uh-huh.
that for a
Of
2 year
course.
old, yeah, you can tell your child that And it's practice makes perfect, like they say. The first
Mm-hmm.
time, this is your chocolate. Do not touch it until I come back. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll be surprised that these children really understand what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually learn. When you do that 2 to 3 times, you will see that their patience capacity have actually grown, and
Mm-hmm.
they can wait because they know that if I wait for 1 hour, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get double of this. And sometimes it might not even be about the reward. It may just be about the values you're putting and you're teaching them. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I concur with what you're saying. Thank you so much for that response,
Okay.
Evie.
Okay.
Bamiro, I hope you're satisfied with the answer.
Please, if you have more questions, kindly,
Oh, we have
kindly.
another one here. It says,
Okay.
"What are the practical ways to teach them how to delay gratification? What are the
Okay.
practical ways to teach them how to delay gratification?"
Okay, so I think I spoke on that earlier, so maybe Deepa wasn't here, but I would give another example. All right. And there are a couple of ways. So I think I'm going to make this a bit more expansive, right?
Okay.
And talk about ways to teach your children about money. Okay. So one of the things that I mentioned before is giving them some responsibility. So giving them something to manage, right? So
Yeah.
pocket money, giving them pocket money is not spoiling them. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not spoiling them. So you're just basically building practice. You're teaching them responsibility. So you give them 500 naira, maybe 500 naira or £5, depending on where you're joining from, and let them make decisions based on that money. Do you understand? You could also like I mentioned before, tie small earnings to small tasks, connect effort to reward. But yeah, what you are doing is that in giving them something to manage, you're letting them know that, for example, right, when we used to go to school, when we went to school, our parents would tell us that I've given you this pocket money. Okay, so that is all you have from me for the month. So if anything wants to happen, don't call me. I've given you money for the month. Right. So what that taught us is that taught us responsibility. So with that, it means that you cannot spend anyhow. So even if your colleagues or your friends are buying Fanta and Zobo, you know that let me just buy sweets. So you rather buy something else. So that's a way to teach them, right? So giving them something to manage. To answer your question specifically, Dikmo, on delayed gratification, I said before that I spoke about the marshmallow test, right? So what you do, or marshmallow experiment, what you do is that you give them one item,
Hmm.
right? It can be chocolates, it can be a marshmallow chocolate or something that they like, and tell them that I'm giving you this now. This is one. But if you can wait for 15 minutes without eating it, I'll give you two.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be exactly this way. It doesn't have to be exactly what I just explained. It can be anything. So maybe your child likes biscuits, likes something else. You can say, take this. But if you're able to wait for if you're able to wait till tomorrow, if you don't eat this today and you're able to wait till tomorrow, I'll give you two. Right. So that way you're teaching them patience, you're teaching them delayed gratification.
Hmm.
Okay, I hope that that helps. That's one of the ways that you can teach them. Okay, so going back to talking about other ways to teach your kids about money, not just delayed gratification. Now, I've mentioned before taking them shopping, but it's not just taking them shopping. As you're taking them shopping, you are narrating your thinking. Okay, so I'm choosing this one because it's cheaper. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
letting them understand your thought process as you are making the decisions that you are making is how you are educating them financially. So you're letting them see you compare prices. You're letting them decide. Okay. And sometimes you can also let them involve them. What do you think? Do you think I should take this? Which one do you prefer? All of those things are ways that you are helping them, you're helping them build this financial literacy that we're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
another thing that I want to mention is it's important that you open an account for your kids. I
Very
don't I don't know why. Yes, I don't know how that skips. earlier, right? It's important that you open an account for them and let them know that you have an account for them. Okay. And let them also watch it grow. Okay. Take them to the bank, set up a digital account for them, a savings account, show them the balance. Oh, this is what we have saved so far. And when they earn money, you can also say, okay, let's take this and put this in the bank. We're putting this in the
Mhm.
bank. We're putting a portion of this in the bank. We're using this to buy this. Okay. So that way you're showing them how to save. So yeah,
Mm. Wow, that's a
I don't know if
lot.
there's any I know. I don't know if there's any other question.
Uh, okay, we're having people saying they're proud of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, if you have any other question, please just drop it in the comment section. Wow,
Okay.
our guests, EVA, please, do you have anything to tell our viewers before we, come to the close of this
I
session?
mean, I have so many things to say. If you leave me here, I'm going to talk for an extra hour. Okay. Oh yeah. One thing that I would say though is that you see in the West, you would see that kids they have lemonade stands, they do things, little things here and
Mm,
there, backyard sales, do things here
yeah,
and there to start earning money, right? And I think that is something that we can also practice. Okay, let them during the holiday, let them come up with things that they can sell. That way, you are raising, you're building an entrepreneurial spirit in them as kids, and then you're teaching them you're teaching them value. So now most times when people sell something, they think about it from the extent of from the they look at it like, oh, I'm trying to get money to quickly do this. No, when you are selling something, what you're doing is actually you're creating value. Okay.
yeah,
So you're giving them that mindset of creating value. And then you're teaching them that when you create value, you are able to earn from it. Okay. So that means that if for any reason they do not have money in their pockets,
yeah.
they're not thinking of who do I go to collect money from. They're thinking, what can I do to create value in order to get some money?
Get some money.
So yes, so while the West they have lemonade stands. For us, it can be anything. Can be maybe sell snacks at school, something. Just make sure that you are building that in them. Maybe do something for the neighbors, anything, something simple to just build that financial responsibility and entrepreneurial spirit. Yes.
I'm so sorry if we just got
All right.
two questions right now. And the
Okay.
last question just made me laugh. The person said,
Okay.
Victor said, how can you remodel a good money habit to your kids after you've modeled the wrong one to them in the past? That's one
Okay.
question. And the other one
Okay.
is, the first one is by the Orea Force. It said, what would
Yeah.
you advise children who are slow learners?
Oh,
This is
that's
really,
that's
yeah,
yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so what would you advise children who are slow learners? I don't think you can advise children who are slow learners. Okay, so
mm,
what you can do, because I'm an educator, all right, and I deal with different children who are slow learners in quotes, and those who are fast. Yeah. But what you have to do is that first of all, you have to be patient. You have to be very
yeah,
patient, right? The goal is for them to learn. Okay. And sometimes I've realized that when we say kids are slow learners, it's more like we do not understand their learning style.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. So you need to understand their learning style. Some kids learn by doing. Some kids once they just see you do something, they've picked it up. So you need to be able to calm down and understand what learning style actually works for this kid. Right. So if they are slow learners, it means that you have to be a slow teacher. You have to
okay,
calm down, yes, and teach them slowly, go over and over again, teach them by doing what you are doing. Okay, this is what we are doing, show them, and
yeah,
always. So, one thing you should always do is talk, right? So, it's not just enough to do things, you have to explain what you are doing. Let them see the reason why you are doing this. oh, we are not going to after church today, we're not going to that restaurant where we usually eat. Why? Because we have been spending too much money on that. So we're trying to cut down on the money that we are spending on that. Why? So that we can have more money to get you books or get you this. You are explaining your thought process. So you're not just doing things, you're letting them see. Okay. So
Yeah.
that is how you do not advise slow learners. You teach them slowly, become a slow teacher, be patient, and keep on emphasizing it over and over using different methods until they get it. And trust me, they'll get it. Sometimes it seems like they will not get it until they are put in that situation. When they are put in
Yeah.
that situation, that's when you see that they've actually gotten it. Okay. Then to answer Deepa's question, Deepa says, how can
I'm
you
sorry,
remodel a
Evie.
good
I'm
one?
so sorry.
Sorry.
Can I?
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry. Can I just also chip in some things to that last question
Yeah.
as an
Yeah.
educator?
Yeah,
Like
go
what
ahead.
Evie has said, I don't think we have any word like slow learners for
Yeah.
children. It's because we
Yeah.
have a lot of impatient adults. We have
Yeah.
adults who are too fast. Like what
Mm-hmm.
Eve said, we have different kinds of learning. We have the visual
Mm-hmm.
learning, we have the oral
Mm-hmm.
learning, we have the kinesthetic learning. We have
Mm-hmm.
different kinds. So it's not just a one-way teaching. So when
Mm-hmm.
that's why from the very beginning you have to understand the type of learning of the child you're dealing with. So if the
Mm-hmm.
child likes oral conversation, that means both of you like to talk. He likes to talk. He understands when you say what and he picks it. Then that's an
Mm-hmm.
oral learner. When the child is visual, means that he learns through videos, through
Mm-hmm.
things he can see, can watch. Maybe through you acting something or demonstrating a drama. Then okay, yeah, you have to look for activities in that area. Kinesthetic can be dancing, learning, ballet, anything. That does not mean the child is slow. It just means that their method of learning is different. So if you use one method for 12 children and they get it right and one is slow, that means you as a teacher you've already gotten one thing, or you as a parent or an educator have already gotten one thing that is very, very crucial, and that's the fact that you've understood that the child is having a different type of learning. It's not just slow. It's just that he's not following your method. So you have to go back to see, what does this child really have interest in? Is it when we put on the screen for videos, the child can remember every scene? Or is it when they listen to Sticks and Code and Joe Fish bedtime story, they can
Yeah.
remember everything that's been taught because it's online? So you have to just know that, then go with it. And if truly you feel like they're not going with your pace, then you slow down. Like what Ivy has said, you become a slow teacher. That's when a child can even trust you and
Mm-hmm.
understand what you're teaching. Even with teaching, teaching doesn't just come with you knowing what to say or the knowledge and passing it on. It comes with trust. It comes with understanding. It comes with the child seeing you as a safe space. So when you have all those things, it makes it very easy for the child to learn. Again, we don't have anything like the slow learner. Children have different kind of learning process, and we as parents, educators, teachers, brothers and sisters, our responsibility is to find out how to make it easy for them to learn. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're both educators, so I feel so much at home here. Yeah, I feel so much at home here. Okay, so yeah, Deepa says, how can you remodel a good money habit to the kids after you've modeled a wrong one to them in the past? So I love this question because this is actually a good teachable moment, and how you handle it matters in how your child, gets to see things. First of all, you need to acknowledge acknowledge, yes, like, oh, we used to do this in the past. So maybe for example, you would always let me think of an example. For example, you would always, if a kid wants something, you'd always give it to them. Oh, mommy, I want ice cream. You're giving them ice cream. Mommy, I want this. You're giving it to them. So what you can do is you let them know the next time they ask for something, because you're trying to, you know, retrain them. You let them know that we used to do this in the past, and
Mhm.
that was wrong. Okay, that was wrong. That wasn't good for you. So this is how we are going to do things going forward. Okay. when we have to decide what is important, we have to plan for our money. So that means that we cannot always give you everything you want. We need to let you know we need to get only what is important. If we don't do that, it means we're going to be broke. We're not going to have money again. Do you want us to be broke?
Mm.
No. No. Of course, the child will say no. Do you want us to be poor? Do you want us not to have money again? Of course, the child will say no. So that way you're teaching them that, oh, we used to make a mistake. You're owning up to what you used to do before that was wrong. And then you're now introducing. Then one thing that you can do is that both of you and your kids, right, can now come together to make new rules. So when you involve them in the process or in the decision making, okay, so this is what we're going to be doing going forward. Maybe we're going to have one treat a month, one treat a month. What do you think about that? They can tell you, oh no, one is too small. How about two? There's negotiation. So that way you're also teaching them negotiation. You understand?
Mm.
So that is the way to remodel, to reteach or remodel when you have taught them something wrong in the past. I hope that answers your question, Deepa.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not Deepa. Deepa. I hope she answered your question. Thank
Yeah,
you
you can
so
let
much.
us know.
Yeah. And also to add to that, I would look at the parent perspective. If you as
Yeah.
a parent have already modeled something wrong, I'll just be following up with what Evie has said. Acknowledge you're wrong. I think one thing
Yeah.
I really appreciate my dad for is that whenever there's something, that's really gone up in the family, he sits everybody down and tells us this is where we were wrong as a family. It brings up accountability. Children seeing you take accountability for what you've done really, really helps. So you sitting down with your child to say, I had 10,000 naira. I wanted to use it to do those things, and or I spent it lavishly. It makes them understand that you can make mistakes too. Because back then, our parents had the most brilliant. We were the one who got first in all the classes.
They could do no wrong.
nobody was last. Every of our
Yeah.
parents would tell us that, I came first, and things like
Yeah.
that. But if we
Yeah.
can take accountability and tell them that I made a mistake, it makes
Uh-huh.
them understand that they also can take accountability and see that I can make mistakes, but I need to make amends. But you
Uh-huh.
hiding that as just saying, let's move on because I'm your father or I'm your mother, can really damage the child. Like I think Ivy has also spoken about it, saying that you portray what you want your child to be. So if they see you saying you should save, but you are buying, and you can't pay your house
Exactly.
rent, they will just feel like
Yeah.
you're a joke. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
have to save too, and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Exactly.
thank you. Oh, Deepa
Thank you.
said very
So
much so. Thank you so much,
yeah.
Evie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and we don't have any other question. Do we have?
Okay. No, I don't think
We
so.
have one more. We have one more. This will be
Okay.
the last one because we have to go. So it said, is it
Yeah.
okay to be completely vulnerable to your children?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you for asking the question. So what I would say is that you should remember that they are still children. Okay. So you do not have to be completely vulnerable with them and let them no, you don't have to. Okay. They're still children. There is only so much they can handle. Okay. You can let
Mm,
them give them a sense of what's going on. They don't have to know your complete salary. They don't have to know how much you're earning. Because remember, they are children. Before they're gonna say, my father is earning 1 million naira. How much is your father earning?
they will definitely say that.
So yeah,
They
so you
will.
don't have to let them know everything. And then you don't also have to let them know yes, if things are not going well, you don't have to let them know the full picture. For example, God forbid, maybe your landlord is going to send you away from the house. You don't have to let them know they're sending us away from the house. So no,
Mm,
you still have to protect them. Okay, but there are certain things that you can let them know, like, oh, we cannot afford to buy you all the things that we used to buy you before, but we are working towards it. Remember, we've told you that money comes from earning. So your mom and I are working towards increasing our earning. So you can give them small bits, but not like the entire thing because they're still children. and you do not want to lay your whole burden on them,
Yeah,
right? There's only so much they can handle. So yes, please, Bamiro, please.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, the Oreo said sometimes we should ask our parents for their results too.
Actually, yes, we should show workings.
Let me
Okay.
see. Let me see. Anyways, we have one more question. I know we said one more, but we already have.
Yeah.
Please post on any other question because we're almost rounding up. So we have one
Yeah.
more. It said, if you were to advise yourself at 10 years old, what would it be?
Okay. I don't know what advice I would give to myself at 10 years old, because I mean I'm 10 years old.
That's been
So
real.
I
That's been
yeah,
real.
I'll probably tell myself to listen to my parents, because
Hmm.
now, in hindsight, I'm seeing that a lot of the things that my parents, a lot of the things that they wanted me to do, the advice that they give to me then, I should have just followed them. Right. So yeah, I'll probably tell myself to listen to my parents. That's like the only advice I can say, give it to myself at 10 years old. Right. Because 10 years old, you're still young, you're really young. What do you know about life? So just listen to your parents and trust your parents, basically. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, yeah, I concur also because even me at 10 years old, I don't think I would have given myself any good advice. Maybe it's
Exactly.
spend, go and
Yeah.
get that doll, go and get that
Yeah.
bicycle, you know. But looking
Yeah.
back from here, I think what I would have told my 10 years old is I wish I'd saved more, you know.
Right. Right. Honestly, that's a very good one. We should have started saving right from when we were born.
Yeah,
Just start saving, right? Which is why we're having this conversation now. It's not too early or too late to start teaching regardless of the age of your kids,
yeah,
right? So you can always make a U-turn and start teaching them these values. It may be hard if they're already older, but then it's better late than never.
yeah, I concur to that. All
I don't know
right.
if I don't know
Okay.
if we have like 1 minute for me to just add something, because this is something that is very, very important and I feel like I must say it. Okay.
Sure, sure,
So
go on.
please, if you have a daughter, I'm saying this again, if you have a daughter, please make sure that she is in every money conversation you are having. Okay.
Mm,
Our culture still often unconsciously teaches girls to defer their financial decisions to men. All right. And that has serious consequences. Okay. So we need to raise girls to be money minded. It's
mm,
important that ladies are also money minded. It's important
yeah,
that you teach them that they can work and earn, and that they don't have to wait for a man to come and teach
mm,
to come and take care of them. If a man comes along and comes to take care of them, of course, all good and fine. But then let's not leave money conversations to just our sons. Let's not just teach our sons. Let's also involve our daughters. Okay. So that's all I want to say. Really.
thank you so much. That's really a very good addition. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really agree to what you just said. Because many ladies now have lost their identity of understanding that they can also earn and be independent financially. To
Mhm.
see it as the main problem. And like you said, it's okay if a man
Yeah.
comes in to take care of you.
Mhm.
That's okay. But that does not mean you are his financial responsibility. I've always told myself when I was younger, I think, I've always told myself that I would rather contribute with my man, and if he says no, then that's fine. Rather than
Yeah.
me thinking he's to want to provide everything for me, it just brings a whole lot of dependence, which is, I'm not saying it's bad, but I mean, it's not good when it's excess, when it's
Mhm.
something you do all the time and you can't even provide for yourself. So I
Yeah.
believe what you said is so profound and good. Thank you so much for that. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so we've come to the end of tonight Webner. Yay! One person I really want to appreciate is EVA. Thank you so much for showing up regardless of everything
Thank
that
you.
happened. Thank you. And
Yeah.
also, I really want to apologize for starting very late. That's why we're having this number of viewers. Although, and I really want to appreciate everyone who called me, who texted and said, "Where's it? I can't see you guys online." Thank you so much for your concern and your love towards this. And I hope you've really learned a lot. I'll just be calling out your names, and if you're still here, just drop a comment or an emoji. Thank you so much, Nita, for joining. Thank you, Evie. Thank you, Aditula. Thank you, Bamiro. And thank you so much, Deepo. Thank you. Who do we have here again? We have Oyi. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear Rai Force. We really, really appreciate you coming here. You always make it really easy for us to do this, and we are glad that you're here to listen to this. And I hope this really helped. I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope you've this would actually help you in the coming future. So thank you. So over to you, Vee, if you have anything to say.
So I think I would also want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Tosin, for having me. It's been very interesting. I love being here, right? And of course, you can always call me any other time. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Then thank you to everyone that joined. Thank you for your questions as well. You made it more interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, and I think my final words would be that the goal of all of this is not necessarily to raise a rich child, but is to raise a wise adult, right? Is to raise a responsible individual who knows how to earn, who knows how to save, give, who knows how to spend with intention, and who knows how to think long term. And when you've raised that child can basically build anything. Okay. And
yeah,
whatever it is that they build, they'll be able to pass it on. Okay. So this is a good legacy to leave for your children. That's it. That's all.
yeah. Thank you so much, Ivy.
Yeah.
You are you
Okay.
you are one person filled with wise words and wise saying. I'm really happy.
Thank
I'm
you.
really happy I chosen to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
guys, thank you for staying in till now. This is now 9:59. I'll be logging out by 10 o'clock. So thank you so much again for saying thank you and see you next month. So yeah, I used to always give yeah, so before we go, next month we're talking about identity, and you know that every month now we're treating something very special to our children. So next month we'll be talking about identity, and it's being focused um, on the female child, on the girl child. So please tune in. We're going to read some books and also talk about it from the Bible perspective, like we always do. So really hope you stick around and also tell people to, come to be a beneficiary of this also. So thank you and have a good night rest. Bye bye, guys.